cattle rustlers in Falgore Forest as joint operation led by the Nigerian Army stumped the area as part of an onslaught to completely rid the forest of criminals. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that the operation Sweep the Forest succeeded in arresting 17 rustlers and recovering 78 livestock.
This operation is called Operation Sweep the Forest. It is coming after
of awaiting trial of persons in Nigerian prisons, he said will curb the high rate of congestion of prisons in Nigeria. Oyemi Ajayi has the details.
Prison is to rehabilitate and reintegrate persons already convicted of crimes. It is also to provide safety for persons kept in detention. This means that prisons are not established for persons awaiting trial. But as it stands now, 75% of inmates in Nigerian prisons are still awaiting trial. This worrisome trend is a major factor for the congestion of Nigerian prisons.
Ikoyi prison is
focused on sharpening the skills and capacities of the Nigerian police officers to effectively tackle and curtail all manifestation of kidnapping in Nigeria, irrespective of the dimension it takes.
Our strategic response has always been to discourage the payment of ransom, because doing that we think will encourage people to, carry on their criminal activities. But at the same time, we're also very mindful about the safety of the people, the victims who are kidnapped.
We need to use the generic tactics that we're all able to use and actually implement them a lot independent and specific to what your problem is.
The IGP said the training will also consolidate and add more experience to earlier training.
A lot of money has spent here. If you see this place is a swamping area. I know how much I spent.
On a previous visit, the minister requested them to write a formal petition, and when this was not forthcoming, the minister paid another visit and was amazed at the extent of damage.
And I'm going to work towards it to ensure that the story of the artist village will be like Ilio Batojo.
God bless you.
In other words, out of this fix will grow a more befitting artist village.
Thank you very much.
A more befitting artist village that will only not boast of studios, but or theaters or rehearsal, halls, but also decent markets where you can exhibit your wares, sell your wares.
A befitting artist village means that artists like this ones rehearsing in the open will be able to perform more comfortable in the theaters and studios. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Muslim women in Lagos joined their counterparts across the world to commemorate this year's World Hijab Day. Musa Toliat reports that the event was celebrated across the metropolis with symposia and procession to educate the public on the essence of adorning the Islamic headscarf known as hijab.
On security agents to stop incessant attacks on women wearing hijab across the country. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Until an effective price control system is put in place, Nigerians may keep grappling with incessant and indiscriminate increase in prices of goods and services, especially food items. Annie Daniels visited some markets in the Lagos metropolis to ascertain the prices of food items.
Meat cost. You cannot buy meat 300, 200. You cannot buy from 500, 1,000.
Our respondents lamenting the high cost of food items in Lagos. With the festive season over and not so much purchasing power in circulation, one would have thought that the prices of foodstuffs would have reduced. But no. When NTA News visited the Sabo and Oimbo markets, all on the Lagos mainland, prices of foodstuffs have remained high and in some cases increased.
Everything, even the Iru bean cake, what did they call it? It was 15 naira before. It's now 3 a.m. Maybe it's not about, no, it was 15 naira. It's around 100 naira now.
Now 500, last 400.
But it's going high now. Before we are selling 900, 800, but now it's 1,300.
Crayfish, now the pet rubber now was 7.
Before how much?
Before we they say what 2, now was 7.
They say dollar. Me we no sabi dollar. They say dollar.
So it's dollar making everything to be cost.
The story is not different with fruits and vegetables. The way out of incessant and indiscriminate increase in prices of foodstuffs, these respondents say, is for governments to put in place an effective price control mechanism.
At that time, that is in power at that time. They have price control. They go from one market to just to compare the prices. So they know how to beat it down. If they can have price control, it's also well and good.
In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
These are top stories from the Lagos Network Center at this hour. Over to you, Isaac, for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Vera. Nigeria has lost over 2.1 million birds to bird flu in recent time, with negative impact on the economy and well-being of the poultry farmers. The Food and Agriculture Organization and the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, are of the view that the outbreak in Nigeria could affect poultry business in West Africa. Musa Babaliu has details.
The support from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, is based on the concerns over rapid expansion in the number of states affected by the avian influenza, also known as bird flu. About 2.5 million birds have been killed by the disease in 591 farms in 24 states, including the FCT. Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation identified negligence on the part of the poultry farmers and inadequate facility and equipment as responsible for the spread of the disease. The support coming from the FAO is expected to enhance capacities for the prevention and control of avian influenza in the country.
No human cases of bird flu have been reported in Nigeria. However, if this disease becomes endemic in Nigeria, there is a possibility of human cases emerging.
That is why we're taking this matter very seriously. And we're happy that they've come to our aid to provide these materials. We'll use them effectively to contain that.
Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development reinstated that the federal government will continue to support poultry farmers as the administration is discouraging importation of poultry. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Senate Committee on Agriculture has stressed the need for services of agri-extension workers to boost productivity in the sector. The committee chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, said the extension workers would help farmers increase their yield with expertise applied in the production process.
We are not providing the environment for them to be accepted by the European Union, the European countries. It couldn't, because there wasn't the kind of packaging, proper packaging.
Describing research as key towards improved farm yields, Abdullahi Adamu called on research institutes in the country to embark on extensive research to develop a Nigerian model of biotechnology.
China, India, and see the way they go about coordination of agricultural research efforts. You know that we have a very, very long way to go.
He reaffirmed President Buhari administration's drive to make agriculture the mainstay of Nigeria's economy. And the Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, says to ensure safe and sustainable environment, erosion caused by human activities must be reduced to the barest. She gave the advice. The highly charged issue of gas flaring came to the fore during interactions between the Joint Senate Committees on Gas and Niger Delta and independent oil companies. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports that the joint committees are particularly interested in what steps are being taken to reduce the harm of gas flaring to the Niger Delta.
Presentations by the independent oil companies on gas flaring, the impact of gas flaring on the environment in which they operate, and the corporate social responsibility to the host communities were the key issues that dominated discussions. Members are, however, not satisfied with the submissions made on this topical issue.
All IOCs must present detailed copies of their annual budget. They should also present detailed analysis on their community developmental programs, including environmental remediation. Am I right?
What we want is the good of our people, the Niger Delta. We are not an activist. You should understand what we are saying from the point of view that for people are suffering in the Niger Delta.
The joint committees have given the IOCs 4 days to produce detailed presentations addressing these critical issues, and it is expected that the Ministry of Environment and the Petroleum Technology Development Fund will also be engaged. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adigunle, NTA News.
4 state governments in the southeast have spent 72 billion naira on federal roads in the area. The Minister of State for Power, Works and Housing, Mustapha Baba Shehuri, disclosed this after a visit to the states to verify the claims of the state governors. Works correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The verification exercise is sequel to mandate from the presidency for the setting up of an interministerial committee to be chaired by the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, to examine the quality and scope of the intervention on federal roads and bridges. The Minister of State for Power, Works and Housing, Mustapha Baba Shehuri, embarked on a tour to the project sites in Abia, Anambra, Enugu and Ebonyi State. A breakdown of the projects indicates that Enugu State government intervened on 17 federal roads and bridges. Anambra and Ebonyi executed 13 each, while Abia State government completed 11 road projects. In all the states visited, the minister had interactive session with the state governors, where he expressed satisfaction with the quality of work done, stressing that due diligence and transparency will be accorded in the reimbursement process. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And now time to join Kemi in our Ibadan Network Center for the governor's briefing of the media on the burial arrangements of the late Olubadan and other stories. Hello Kemi, it's good to see you.
Hello Isaac, good to see you too and welcome to Ibadan. Governments at all levels have been enjoined to diversify the nation's economy and invest in the future of youths. The retired primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Peter Akinola, gave the charge in the sermon at the special Thanksgiving service on the 40th year of creation of Ogun State. Lekon Agbode has details.
The Cathedral of St. Peter's Ake Abeokuta played host to Ogun State sons and daughters of different class, age, and status who converged to reflect on the goodness of God since 40 years of creation of the state. The only lesson of the service, taken from the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 1 to 12, was read by the state governor, Senator Ibikunle Amosun. In his sermon, Most Reverend Peter Akinola said the people of the state hold the Almighty praises and thanksgiving for the way he had guided the people and government to enviable successes in the last 40 years.
Then we can develop agriculturally as well, whatever it takes. And our youth in particular, I am very, very keen on this, our youth in particular, must be developed. But before they can develop, they must change their orientation.
Thereafter, Senator Ibikunle Amosun led other functionaries of government from the three arms, royal fathers, clergies, and other worshippers to the altar to appreciate the Almighty. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
The federal government and other relevant stakeholders have been urged to reinvigorate the multi-billion naira Ikere Gorge Dam in Shaki, Oyo State. The call was made at the cropping of tilapia fish from the dam. Correspondent Fatai Adieloja reports.
The Managing Director of Ogun River Basin Development Authority, Engineer Akin Tudesheni, said it is a thing of joy for him that one of the authority's mandates of promoting fish farming was being delivered in view of its potentials for national economic growth. Impressed with the output of an experiment conceptualized and executed barely a year back,
also committed to making our various dam projects realize their full potential as envisioned in our mission.
President of Tilapia Aquaculture Developer Association, Mr. Remy Ahmed, said Nigeria has a lot to learn from Egypt, second largest producer of tilapia in the world, and China, and made a passionate appeal to federal government to provide a much-needed enabling environment. Then came the business of the day, harvesting of tilapia fish in commercial quantity in Ikeregoj Dam. Fatai Adieloja, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Ibadan. Isaac, it's back to you.
Thank you, Kemi. And from Ibadan, we'll take a break now. Nationwide will be back shortly, if you stay with us.
Nigerians, do you know the look of a suicide bomber? They're usually in loose or heavy clothing, usually inappropriate for the weather. They carry bags or packages. They tighten their hands or keep them in their pockets. They are unaware of their surroundings, always alone and nervous. They'll be found driving cars, moving very fast or extremely slow. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. If you see something, say something.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
As Nigeria searches for non-oil revenue sources, NTA Tuesday Live this week shall focus on taxation as a credible option. Effective taxation, a veritable source of revenue generation, only on NTA Tuesday Live. Promises to be incisive, informative, and engaging. Don't be told. Join us.
Though we speak different languages and celebrate different cultures, we were still one Nigeria. There was no bombing, there was no kidnapping, and our children were not cultists. Now, we suspect one another that there are spreads of cultism, bombing, and kidnapping. How long shall this go on? Terrorism is alien, kidnapping is criminal, cultism is barbaric. Nigeria is a blessed country. Support the Nigeria Police and the fight against terrorism, kidnapping, and cultism. Always inform the police of any incident around you. Say something when you suspect something.
Remember, we all have a stake in building a crime-free Nigeria of our dream.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
Are you aware that the death percentage attributed to Lassa fever cases is currently put at 43.2%, a figure considered very high? Lassa fever, an acute viral illness characterized by high fever, muscle aches, mouth ulcers, and bleeding in the skin, is harbored by rats and spread to humans via the urine and droppings of rats. To prevent Lassa fever, avoid any exposure with rodents, rats, as well as food and objects contaminated with rat secretions and excretions. Report all suspected cases of Lassa fever immediately to the nearest healthcare institution. Help prevent Lassa fever. This message is from the Federal Government of Nigeria.
Nigerians, our fearless officers and men of the Nigerian military are winning the war against Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria, unite against terrorism.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
This week on Airtel Touching Lives, we visit Folusho Pamilerin, who was crippled in a motorcycle accident in 2012.
I'm very happy, at least I can move around now, not as when I'm stuck at home.
And we meet a woman that was beaten by her husband and then abandoned with the children.
I just told myself that I have to survive.
My people, now how person fit take service suicide bomber self? Suicide bomber they always knack heavy cloth, but sometimes anyhow loose cloth when not delicate with the weather at all. They always carry big bag or many load like who they travel. They always tight hand like blow or even put their hand inside pocket like who called the mama. Sometimes suicide bomber like to tanda alone they fear. And they know they send waiting they happen around them all. Sometimes then they drive motor fast, fear.
For several disease conditions. Caretaker Committee Chairman of Kumi Local Government Council, Stephen Ibrahim Agia, whose council facilitated the medical outreach, said the council was worried by the plight of those living in the hinterlands and had little or no access to medical facilities. He said where the facilities exist, most of them have no money to pay the medical bills.
Our people are known to be peasant farmers, and as peasant farmers, they are supposed to have the strength to do their work.
One of the medical doctors engaged for the program, Danga Injuwe Danga, said no single fatality was recorded during the medical outreach, while 41 persons who could not be attended to due to time constraints have been referred to the Cottage Hospital in Baissa. Some of the beneficiaries who spoke on the free medical services thanked the local government council and the chairman for the initiative. The traditional ruler of Kumi, Chief Samela Mewia, also commended the initiative and urged other council areas in the state to emulate it. In Jalingo, Joseph Zainagambo, NTA News.
The need for Nigerians to imbibe the reading culture for the acquisition of knowledge has once again been stressed. This was at the inauguration of the Benue State Action Committee on Read Campaign, a project meant to improve the reading culture among Nigerians. Godwin Inalebu completes the report.
The 5-day workshop for SUBEB accountants and auditors is to equip trainees with requisite knowledge in the creation and management of electronic financial transactions using database software. Chief of Staff Tewase Obune, who represented the governor of Benue State, said the training is key to aligning with global trends and called on participants to use the knowledge acquired to ensure transparency and prudent management transactions for better standards.
Primary education is supposed to be strongest. Secondary school education is supposed to be stronger. And tertiary education is supposed to be strong.
Executive Chairman SUBEB, Dr. Philip Tachin, said the board desires to give its staff better services to ensure transparency and prudence in all financial transactions to block leakages in line with global best practices. Facilitators at the 5-day training exercise charge participants to integrate themselves with the data space technology, as this will also enhance effective teaching and learning in the primary schools. Some participants described the training as a groundbreaking initiative in the country.
I've benefited a lot for the last 5 days.
I want to sincerely appreciate the management of SUBEB headquarters in the first place for giving us this privilege.
In Makudi.
We apologize for the mix-up on that report. Meanwhile, the Benue State government says it will ensure efficiency in the administration of primary education through its policy initiatives. Executive Chairman SUBEB, Dr. Philip Tachin, disclosed this at the end of a training workshop on electronic financial transactions. Elias Itiaf reports.
For SUBEB accountants and auditors is to equip trainees with requisite knowledge in the creation and management of electronic financial transactions using database software. Chief of Staff Tewase Obune, who represented the governor of Benue State, said the training is key to aligning with global trends and called on participants to use the knowledge acquired to ensure.
The Institute, Dr. Ladi Hamalai, supervised the commencement of the competition. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
The maiden edition of the FCT News Quiz competition focused on legislative practices and procedures, political parties, budget process, and democracy. 81 schools that participated in the competition were drawn from both private and public sector and were grouped into 8 centers. School for the Gifted Gwagwalada, Model Secondary School Meitama, Government Secondary School Kuje, Government Secondary School Gaube, and Government Day Secondary School Karo were among schools that emerged winners in their various centers. Director General of News, Dr. Ladi Hamalai, some news directors and officials of the FCT Secondary School Education Board supervised the exercise. It was a great learning experience for the students.
The competition was splendid, very interesting all the way.
It was a wonderful experience, even though we didn't win, and we learned a lot, and we hope to repeat it again sometime later.
It's such a beautiful empowerment from the institution.
I'm very happy, and we'll come back home to celebrate.
The final phase of the competition is expected to hold on the 2nd of February 2016 in Abuja. Kenneth Nani, NTA News.
Embarks on advocacy campaign on Lassa fever. Details of this report and more with Chiagono in our Enugu Network Center. Hello, Chiagono.
Hello, Isaac. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu. Travelers in Abia State are taking advantage of the subsidized Aba-Port Harcourt intercity rail services. Uchechukwu Onwe reports that the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, inaugurated the new Aba-Port Harcourt intercity mass transit services last month.
Transportation system in Nigeria served as major source of moving human and agricultural produce from the east to various parts of the country. But regrettably, the railway transport became malfunctional due to negligence, with successive administration making efforts to revive the system. In 1915, the Aba railway station was established to serve both the south and other parts of the country. Recently, the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, inaugurated the new Aba-Port Harcourt intercity mass transit train service with air-conditioned first class and standard class coaches, with a view to boost socio-economic activities and decongest traffic. A visit to the Aba terminal shows that the train is being put into use as residents speak on their experiences.
I'm coming from Port Harcourt, 200 from Port Harcourt to this place. But if it is vehicle, I pay up to 1,000 naira. It is low.
Because people are very much interested about traveling with train.
All necessary facilities have been put in place as the subsidized price rate is a morale booster. One of the traditional rulers who was on the convoy during the inauguration of the mass transit, Eze Isaac Ikone, called on the government to expand its routes to enable transporters convey their goods up north. An official of the Nigerian Railway Corporation speaks.
Okay, we are having enough passengers. They are responding fine.
In the meantime, the new Aba-Port Harcourt intercity mass transit train service operates on a daily basis from Mondays to Saturdays. In Aba, Uchechukwu Onwe.
I go visit the hospital to do medical checkup. It's very okay.
Highlights of the event were distribution of flyers on Lassa fever and mosquito nets to the people. In Enugu, Ukeria Ogu, NTA News.
The wife of the Anambra State Governor, Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, has, under her pet project, provided 3 widows with bungalows. Mrs. Obiano said it was part of her non-governmental organization Care Initiative for Family Enhancement Project. Benson Osadebe tells us more.
It was a song of joy as the people of various communities, including Alo, Agolo, and Inru, received the governor's wife, Ebele Obiano, in grand style, having used her non-governmental organization, Care Initiative for Family Enhancement, to build houses for indigent widows in the states. She noted that her aim is to seek a new lease of life for some vulnerable members of the society, part of which is to provide decent roof over their heads against the mud houses they were living before now.
I am so happy. In fact, I was close to tears when I saw what was obtained before we had.
Another objective of CAFE is to act as a beacon of hope to indigent widows by undertaking various employment programs as well as get the youths constructively engaged. The beneficiaries, who were filled with joy, commended her for taking them out of the shackles of poverty. Different speakers extolled Mrs. Obiano for taking this initiative of putting smiles on the faces of the needy. From Uri in Anambra State, Benson Osadebe, NTA News.
That's it from here, Isaac. Over now to you for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Chair Gano. African Union plans withdrawal from the International Criminal Court, ICC, citing selective prosecution of political leaders. These and more on Global Tidbits with Gabriel Odu.
Following a proposal put forward by the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, the new chairman of the African Union, Chadian President Idris Deby, says the African Union is mapping out plans for its withdrawal from the International Criminal Court, ICC, alleging that the body is targeting only African leaders for prosecution, a claim ICC has denied. And from South Sudan, a report by ceasefire monitors indicates that at least 50 people have been suffocated to death in a shipping container by government forces, thereby making nonsense of the ceasefire agreement. Away from Africa, scientists in the United Kingdom have been given the go-ahead by the regulatory body to genetically study human embryos to find out possible causes of frequent miscarriages globally. The regulatory body adds that it would be illegal to implant the modified embryo into a woman. That's Global Tidbits. Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
And Sports Update is next with Amanzi Marcus.
West Ham United have completed the signing of Nigerian Emmanuel Emenike on loan from Fenerbahce of Turkey for the rest of the season for £750,000. The EPL side has an option of making the deal permanent at the expiration of the agreement on a fee of £8.1 million. Emenike had 37 caps for Nigeria Super Eagles before announcing his retirement from international football in October 2015 and now joins Victor Mosidit Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
A Sports Update wraps it up on Nationwide today. Thanks for watching. Good evening.